Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Sony SmartWatch 3. This is Sony's third generation Android smartwatch, but their first piece of Android Wear, priced at $250 and with solid specifications. Not only does it seem to be the best watch that Sony has ever made in this category, but also a very competent competitor to the Moto 360 as well as the LG Watch R that recently or is on the verge of launch. So with that said, let me go over some specifications while I give you a look at the packaging, this acrylic box that it comes in, and of course the style of the watch itself is going to be a matter of personal preference. You can see some specifications just basically thrown on the side here. Of course, Bluetooth, NFC, an IP68 rating, so that's one step beyond the IP67 that the Moto 360 has. We also have GPS, 4 gigs of internal storage, and 2 days at least promise of battery life, which is solid. Also keep in mind this charges off of micro USB, the same thing that your phone likely charges from as well. Like any other piece of Android Wear, your phone must have 4.3 or higher with regard to the OS that it is running, and this will work independently from your phone because after all you do have 4 gigs of internal storage, so there is something to work with. Instructions on the back, basically on the bottom of the packaging here, as well as basically just a description of what is in the packaging, a micro USB cable in the watch itself. And everything is based around voice with all of Android Wear devices for those of you, again, unfamiliar. With that out of the way, let me go ahead and crack this open. In terms of specifications, beyond what I just read on the actual packaging, I do want to mention what's under the hood. And with regard to processor, by the way, frustration-free packaging is a nice thing. But the processor is a quad-core ARM A7, clocked at 1.2 gigahertz. You also get a half gig of RAM, pretty much standard in this business at this point. So those specifications ring true with exactly what I expected. The display is a 1.6-inch transflective display. Notice how I compliment the frustration-free, but I didn't completely take it off. 1.6-inch transflective display, 320 by 320 resolution, and that is higher than the Moto 360. Of course, the 360 does have that circular face, even though it's not a complete circle, but still, this is really a matter of personal preference. This, to me, is a little bit more of a athletic look. There are a lot of different bands that you can pick up. It does have a metal clasp, which you're going to see here in a moment, but really, it's a matter of personal preference when it comes to the design itself. The one thing that is nice about this watch, beyond the IP68 rating, no heart rate monitor here, is that it does also actually have, well, in my opinion, a better display than the Moto 360, but better battery life. The actual battery inside this watch is rated at 420 milliamps. So that's higher by, I wouldn't say a significant amount, but enough to make a real-world difference. So let's see if I can figure out exactly how to remove this watch from the packaging here. Wasn't too difficult. The metal clasp, you can see right there, all rubber or some sort of silicone, I'm not sure which. But again, it's really a matter of personal preference. That's what's nice about Android Wear. We've got a lot of different devices, much like Android smartphones, and all that means is that we're going to have a lot of different options when it comes to picking out a new piece of Android Wear, something that years ago you thought maybe wasn't going to happen. As far as what it looks like on the wrist, almost fits me. I would need to do a little bit of adjusting. Let's see if it powers up. And of course, this has GPS. It has all the things you expect a smartwatch to have, let alone now a piece of Android Wear. And frankly, you know, I'm not a tremendous Sony fan when it comes to their mobile devices. Any of you that subscribe to my channel know that I really haven't had an opportunity to deal with too many Sony phones, for that matter, simply because I do use Verizon exclusively. And when it comes to at least phones, they're just slowly now finally making some peace with Verizon. But they're not really at a point in the game anymore where I'm that interested because they have fallen behind. But this is one area where they can still be, at least in my opinion, completely competent. So it looks nice out of the packaging. Solid specifications, of course, all of the sensors, the ambient light sensor, the accelerometer, I mentioned GPS, compass, gyro, all of that's there. But really, again, the critical difference is, do you like the style, and do you like the fact that you're going to have better battery life and arguably maybe better visibility in direct sunlight? That's what Sony is promising with this 1.6-inch transflective display. That's the promise, at least here. But seems intuitive enough. I will be testing it out. I'll let you all know what I think of it in time. I mean, really just that one button there, and then the micro USB charging port, the door is right there. So pretty straightforward. I miss the wireless charging with the Moto 360, but if I don't have to carry around that dock, it's not a terrible thing either. And then under here is our charging cable. So that's pretty much it. Some paperwork underneath it that rounds out the Sony SmartWatch 3. And of course, I will be comparing it to the 360 because it's the only other piece of Android Wear, at least thus far, that I've had my hands on. So really the only other reference point. But hope you all enjoyed the video. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.